Vivek Ramaswamy and Chris Christie really went at it in this debate, especially when it came to comments that Vivek made about Nikki Haley. So check this out.
Peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces.
So Vivek really calling out Nikki Haley there. You can tell she has kind of a blank expression. It seems like she's been caught red-handed by not knowing exactly the thing he's accusing her of not knowing. But he really went pretty far. And you could tell he was being really aggressive and hostile in this exchange.
Provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it.
She even seems to have some kind of like a sly smile. I don't know what she's thinking in her head. Maybe that she's caught that she doesn't quite know, or maybe she's thinking of some kind of a comeback. But nonetheless, here's where Chris Christie really goes off. So check out what he has to say.
Enough.
Okay,
hold on. Let me just say something here. You know, his reasonable peace deal in Ukraine, he made it clear. Give them all the land they've already stolen. Promise Putin you'll never put Ukraine in Russia, and then trust Putin not to have a relationship with China. Let me tell you something. That's no reasonable.
That's not my deal. That's not my deal,
yes,
Chris.
it's exactly what you said. You do this at every debate.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. Okay? You say this.
About how you want to send our kids to die.
You do this at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to say
exactly what I said, Chris.
I'm not done yet.
Now, that was a really heated exchange, the most heated of the night, I would say. And what comes next is a moment where he really comes to the defense of Nikki Haley. He almost seems like a rescuer or some kind of like white knight syndrome kind of a thing. And you can kind of tell she has this interesting little smirk and smile. She seems to get some kind of a pleasure out of seeing him go after and defending her against Vivek here.
Intelligence, not her positions. Her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in the Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting her.
So Chris Christie really calling out Vivek there, but Vivek has a pretty intense comeback, which you can see coming up.
I think we just learned something from Chris Christie. We learned 3 things. We learned 3 things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. So do everybody a favor. Just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this way.
So the next thing to point out here was Chris Christie was really kind of like playing defense here. So he was really going after Vivek. He was going after the lack of critiques against Trump. In this exchange here, Ron DeSantis is kind of caught with a bit of a non-response to a question about Trump.
Opportunity to nominate someone and elect someone for 2 terms who's going to be spitting nails on day 1 and for 8 years
so
deliver
you
big
fit.
result. We should not nominate somebody
he won't answer.
Who's almost 80 years old.
Okay. He's afraid to answer.
No, I'm not.
You have to either you're afraid or you're not listening.
No, it's not.
There's a simple question.
Is he fit?
Hey, nobody can hear this. No one can hear you. They can't hear you.
And the moderators, and I think Megyn Kelly in particular, did a great job of stopping people in their tracks when they began interrupting each other like that. So that went a long way, and that shows the importance of having good, effective moderators in this kind of a debate. But Chris Christie is just straight up calling out Ron DeSantis for not giving a straight answer about how he feels about Trump running for office. The next thing I want to point out here is Ron DeSantis' delivery. There's just something about him that comes across as a little bit less than confident, a little bit less than secure and totally cool and calm under pressure. He just seems nervous when he's talking. See what you think.
We are in jeopardy of being the first generation of Americans to leave to our kids and grandkids in America less prosperous and less free than the one we inherited. I refuse to sit idly by and let that happen. But we got to have people that are going to be willing to fight the people that are doing this to us. You can't be these establishment Republicans that just cave at the first sign of opposition. I'll fight for you. We also need to win again as a party. Yes, win the election, which we've struggled to do, but also win on these big issues. And nobody has defeated these people more than what I have done in the state of Florida on issue after issue. We have won, and we have won big, and that's what we'll do for you. We also need leadership. Leadership is not about doing what's easy. It's about being willing to set out that vision, knowing they're going to shoot arrows at you. They're going to come at you. I will fight the good fight. I will keep the faith, and I will finish the race. Thank you, and God bless you.
So a couple of things there to notice. He has almost like a higher pitched voice, and he seems really insecure when he's talking. He even stumbled on his words a few points, and he had this really weird nervous gesture that if you've seen him speak in debate, he does this all the time. He keeps licking his lips. He does that thing. You can kind of see it at the end here. Let me see if I can find that right at the end.
Thank you, and God bless you.
He keeps doing that throughout the entire debate. I think it's a symptom of nervousness, or who knows, maybe he's on some kind of a medication that causes dry mouth. But in any case, it just collectively, with his like stiff gestures and his higher pitched voice, just makes him seem a little bit less confident than he could be. And I think that's really hurting his numbers, because he has, I think, potential as being a leader in this Republican primary whole race, but he just is kind of stuck and plateaued in the polls, and he just doesn't, it's hard for him to really stand out. And of course, the real winner in this all is the man of the hour, Trump himself, who left this debate seemingly unscathed, even though he didn't even participate. So the leading contender in this race didn't even participate. He was barely even criticized. Only Chris Christie had the guts to really kind of go after Trump here. He called him a wannabe dictator. He really heavily criticized Trump, but none of the other candidates would even go near that topic at all, with any kind of a critiquing point of view. And you can see the polls here. So Trump in these primary polls is up by such a ridiculously long shot that the debates are almost a joke without him even being there. I mean, this is 538, like aggregating all the different poll numbers. You can see Ramaswamy, Christie, barely any traction. Haley, DeSantis, not really even much better. Trump is far and away leading this race, and he wasn't even there. And nobody besides Christie really went after him either. So he is far and away the winner of this debate without even attending. The day before this debate, he went on Fox News with Hannity and made some pretty shocking, incredibly extraordinary comments. I'll let you decide here.
Circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
So it's like he's kind of half joking, but kind of not half joking. And this is a shocking, incredible, anti-American thing to say. He's going to be not a dictator except for day one. It's like, what a weird double negative that is. And the whole debate, they barely even mentioned it, barely even covered that. Nobody really went after him. So how can you say that anybody won this debate except for Trump himself? Ron DeSantis did okay, came across a little bit stiff. Haley was, pretty much status quo. Vivek Ramaswamy gave very strong, long-winded, very hard opinions on certain matters, but kind of came off a little off-putting. He was booed by the audience several times, and he kind of came across as a little bit of a jerk. Chris Christie, he's like a rounding error in the polls, and he kind of just came across like a Democrat, so it's interesting that he was even a part of the debate in general. So this debate was kind of a little bit bizarre and crazy and wild and had lots of heated moments. Both did stay civil for the most part. One of my favorite lines from the debate, Ron DeSantis, it's kind of like his cliche that he's been using throughout his campaigning recently. Buckle up, there's a new sheriff in town. That's what Ron DeSantis keeps saying about being hard on crime, hard on immigration, and these kinds of things, except for the only problem is the only sheriff that seems to be have any chance at this is Trump himself. So who do you think won this debate? Do you agree that Trump is still like the far and away leading candidate here? Let me know in the comments.